everyone, this is Fred from Profile, and today I have the opportunity to talk with Casey Mcpherson from Endoshane, Alpha Rev, Flying Color, and The Sea Within. How's things, Casey?
Good, man. Just sitting in my car office today.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
The signal is very good too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
First, before we talk about your solo, your personal projects, I'd love to know a little bit about the new Flying Collar coming up late summer, from what I heard,
hmm
if you can.
Yeah, this record has been created over three different sessions. Typically, we would do one session for the last uh, two records have either been at, let's see, we did one at Neil's house and one at Mike's house. Um, this one has been at Steve's house and Mike's house. Um, and I feel like there was one other one, but it's been over the course of maybe like, I guess, 3 years almost,
Wow.
really, that we've been writing it. And uh, it's uh, it's going to be really cool. The we just finished writing it this past winter and really got an idea of what it's going to sound like in terms of how it stretches. And it's going to be more of that kind of expansive flying. We definitely have a sound, and it's not something we're intentionally trying to create. It's just what happens when we all get together. And so you'll hear some of Steve's um, just classic, just emotional, um, blow your mind parts,
Yeah.
and then some of the just songwriting that goes, the kind of cross genre songwriting that happens, um, and so it's going to be another one of those journey records, the records that takes you somewhere and goes somewhere. And I, I'm really excited right now because Mike just finished his drums, Dave just finished his bass, and Neil begins to add he's working on his keyboard parts, and then Neil and I are going to work on lyrics on the Cruise to the Edge boat
Wow.
when we're playing those shows together. So we're right in the middle of getting her done, you know.
Is it too early to say if it's gonna be a concept album?
Well, sometimes I'll loosely lyrically look at the whole record, and um, there are some recurring themes in different
Okay.
places musically, but primarily, it's primarily just what songs and parts and things that were coming out of us at the time. But a lot of times lyrically, Neil and I will find some sort of a theme happening throughout the record. So our concepts are loose when we do them, but they're in there. They're
Okay.
hidden.
Well, you've mentioned Cruise to the Edge. Well, next week you'll take part of your, I don't know how many, Cruise to the Edge. I presume you'll be singing with Sea Within and perform solo as well. I'm very
Yes.
curious to find out how did you get involved in progressive rock? Like, how did this all started?
Well, I guess it really would have started when I was a kid and being exposed to Yes and Rush and Dream Theater and Queensryche and some of those bands that some friends of mine were listening to, getting me into kind of the rock guitar, but more classically influenced. Because I was a classically trained pianist for 12 years as a kid, and so I was drawn to that music. But I went into pop because I became a songwriter, and I wasn't really aware of the progressive rock community,
Okay.
of that niche necessarily. I always thought of it more of, there were kind of metalheads and indie rockers, shoegazers, and So I was never really exposed to that, to this beautiful community. And uh, a friend of mine that I was touring with in Indochine, which was my first band, there was some very prog elements in that band, and I didn't know they were prog. I mean, I naturally can write in 7 and 5. That's not something that I do on purpose. It's something I hear, and I didn't realize that was odd tempo, was a freedom that progressive music really allows you to explore. Anyway, that Indochine record got in the hands of a guitar tech who happened to tech for Dream Theater one tour. Mike happened to hear the record during the tour and fell in love with that Indochine record. And fast forward, I don't know, 10 years later, um, I meet Mike when I'm recording New Morning at Avatar Studios in New York, which is an Alpha Rev, my Alpha Rev record on the major label. And I meet Mike for the first time, and he tells me that he's been a fan of the music for a long time. And I was just like, what? You know, like, really? And so we hung out and got to know each other a little bit. We were both working. And then, a year later, Bill calls me up, the Flying Colors manager, and says, hey, we're putting together a super group prog band of sorts, and we want you to be the singer.
Wow.
And so Mike threw my name in the hat for that, and everybody listened and dug it. And I had to make a choice because I was heavily in pop music, and my manager told me it was a bad idea. The label really shunned it. And I just told them, I had to make a decision. Do I do stuff because other people are telling me to do it, or do I do stuff because I want to follow my heart? And naturally, musicians don't become musicians because they're listening to other people. They become musicians because it's inside of them. So I jumped at the chance to play with these guys, um, and from there, it threw me into this world that has just been so beautiful to be a part of, because the freedom for a songwriter and musician and singer like myself it's unprecedented. I've never experienced that kind of camaraderie in this, in the progressive music niche, which we'll experience at the Cruise to the Edge. All those people are wonderful people. They're highly intelligent and love great music of all kinds. It's a very inclusive group, which I really love. So that's what got me in, and kind of set me at the top right off the bat. By playing with the people that I am.
Well, we're very happy you made that decision.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's very, very important that we talk about your solo project. Can you tell me more about KC Sessions? Alpha Rev presents KC Sessions. And how does that work? How do you subscribe to be a member? And what do fans expect to receive?
Okay, yeah. So after my Flying Colors experience, I basically started reassessing my just typical records I make, pop records, songwriting records, and really wanted to start approaching it a different way. And so I started a membership group where people pay $6 a month to get. I immerse myself in a topic or a subject, something I experienced that month. I get video around it, and then I write a song around it, and then I do a live online show every month. And so I release this new material every month, and it's given me the freedom to really explore life and making music in a different way, because typically you have to make a whole record before you release music. So the members are very much kind of a family to some creative family to some degree. They helped me title songs. They helped me write some lyrics at some point. And so this first KC Sessions, or K Sessions, however you say it, I'm still not sure how I say it. This first volume 1 is the first season of that. So there's not only the music, but there's these small documentaries that go along with each of those songs, which I'll be releasing later. But in terms of signing up, people sign up through alpharev.com, and you become a member there, and then a member of the private Facebook group where I do the performances.
Well, here's the KC Session Volume 1. I don't know, I pronounce it KC.
That's correct.
Because of the .e. It's
right.
CAS.E.
Yeah.
It contains 10 beautiful tracks. When came the time to record it on CD? How did you pick which songs from the catalog would be on it?
Well, honestly, I wasn't sure that I was going to release it publicly.
Yeah.
And I thought, I started listening to it as a body of work, and thought, man, this is some of my favorite stuff I've written. There's some guilty pleasures in there. I saved a few of the songs because I think I'm going to make a solo prog album, like a straight up prog record, this year.
Wow.
And so there was a couple of songs I saved for that. The more epic, proggier pieces. And so those will be coming out later, which the members have already heard them, but the people that are just buying the albums haven't. And so I pulled some of those out, and then I arranged the songs. They're not arranged in order from episode 1, 2, 3, 4, but I arranged them more where it felt like you didn't want your 15 minutes of meditation to be your first song,
Oh.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's very good, but
yeah, so it's a good end piece. So
yeah.
you can choose whether or not you want to go there or just go back to song number 1 or end it,
Yeah, You're the
So
Peacemaker, I believe, was song number 1.
yeah.
It's challenging. Yeah.
Oh, Changeling. Changeling. It starts with
Changeling.
the
Changeling.
cello solo at the beginning. Yeah.
I've been a member of Case E or Case Session for about a year now, and believe me, this is a hell of an investment. I love receiving my monthly goodies. Your music is beautiful. Can we expect a volume 2 or anything in the work for as such?
Yeah, I mean, I struggled with I'm really excited about this coming season, which would be season 3, right, that we're on. I think volume 2, which would be from season 2, which we just finished, right?
Yep.
I'll probably be going in the studio and reworking some of those songs. And I went through the divorce, and there was a lot of stuff in my life, so there were a couple of months that were missed there, and so we did some extra Christmas music during that time, to try to make up for it. So, but now that my life has kind of started to stabilize again, I'm really excited about this season coming up, and I'm thinking it's going to be really more around personal stories of people, whether it's other members, and really diving into just your normal average Joe, which we really all are, the uniqueness of each one of our lives, and writing a song around that. So that's kind of where my head's at right now for season 3. Season 2 is called Creating Person,
Yep.
which was all about, through my divorce, it was all about really connection with people and with the people you love, and exploring that. And it did help me in a lot of ways get through a lot of And then there's some stuff with Elise Trow, which she was a really amazing looping artist. There's some cool episodes in that. So yeah, I mean there'll be volume 2 and volume 3. I just got to figure out how to put them together.
Good.
Yeah.
Uh, Quickly, can you take us on a journey? Like when you go on and decide to write one single song for one monthly thing there and record a video and all that, how does that work? Like, how is it in the studio or in your home or even in your car?
Well, so it starts with the moment, right? Like this next one, this next episode for January is, I mean, I guess I'll give a teaser. A friend of mine called me out, and he owns a ranch, and he left a giant internet company where he was, making $500,000 a month. Got rid of everything and started a ranch because he wanted to be with his family. So I'm I went out there for a couple of days, videoed a lot of stuff, and just immersed myself in his life and his story and his thoughts. And so then what I do is I sit with words and with experiences that how it relates to me, and some melodies begin to develop. And a lot of times that's happening in my car. A lot of my best writing is done right here, and then it just I'll spend a day with lyrics and song and recording. Sometimes that's 2 days, depending on how in depth the song is, um, and that'll kind of come out, and you never really know what's going to happen. But if the experience is true enough for me, which is the most important part, then the songwriting becomes a lot easier,
Okay.
because you're not forcing anything, you know. And so I've got a lot of ideas floating around my head. He listened to a lot of Irish music, like Irish folk music, when he was working, and I thought, that's interesting. So I may add some Irish folk music elements into this song because it seemed fitting, considering he used that to stay energetic, and because he's getting up at 5 in the morning, he doesn't get back into their ranch house to eat dinner until 7. So he's working really, really hard, but he really loves his life because he's outside, he's with nature, he's with his family, you know.
A little bit now about the Sea Within. Uh, how will it be to fill the shoes of Danielle Gildenlow for some of the songs as the live singer on the next Cruise to the Edge?
Well, surprisingly, not difficult at all, at
Okay.
least from an emotional standpoint for me. I mean, he's got a beautiful voice. His voice breaks up. He's got more of a rock and roll voice than I do, probably better scream than I do. Um, but he's just as broken as I am, at least emotionally, in his vocal performance. He's very emotive, and so I was quickly swooned by his melodic choices, and strangely enough, they were very familiar to me.
Okay.
And so lyrically and musically, it's just been a great fit. I never would have done it if I mean I was pretty much assuming I was going to say no when they asked me, you know. But after hearing the record, I was like, man, I love this record. This record is awesome, and we've really made it our own. So I don't sing it exactly like him, and obviously there's some parts on the record that I sing anyway, so
Yeah.
that made it a little bit easier. But it's 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 pretty intense, man. The performance is pretty intense. I wish we could be playing more shows, but these shows on Cruise to the Edge are going to be really, really special.
Yeah. Was this a one album project, or do you think there's going to be a follow-up at some point?
Well, we don't really know.
Okay.
We don't know yet. I mean, we've talked about writing together and doing another record. I don't know with who, you know, how many people are going to stay in the band, and I don't know, you know, this particular makeup is going to stay this way or not. So these, you know, it's definitely they, you know, this record is a unique piece of people coming together, and you know, there was a lot of tension for a little while with how the record was made and everything, and so, but sometimes that tension is what makes the best stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So we'll see. I have no idea what's in our future, but we're talking about all different kinds of scenarios right now.
Okay. We talked about the genre, progressive rock, earlier. How healthy do you think it is nowadays?
Well, you know, you see a lot of the um, founders of the progressive rock genre are getting older,
Yep.
and you know, you have a very wide range of age. I think it's really important that we expose the younger generation to it. If you, one of the things I'm really hoping to do with my solo record is to bring in those younger people into the progressive rock niche, because it's so beautiful, and it doesn't, your age doesn't matter, your, what you do doesn't matter, who you are doesn't matter. It's really a giant group of different people that really just love music. And so I think it's a very special niche. I definitely think that it's important for all of us to expose the younger generation to it so we can keep it alive, you
Yep.
know.
Well said. Was it any easier as a pop or alternative artist
um it was easier to play.
to
it,
play? Yeah.
it's a lot easier to play. It's just four chords and you're just strumming it, you know. And so, I mean, the amount of rehearsals that go in for me for Flying Colors and The Sea Within is insane, you know. Um, and I love that challenge. But the pop music is built quite often, unless it's built around some sort of cultural movement, it's built on entertainment, money, and fame. And that stuff really disgusted me. And I really struggled with feeling a part of something, um, when there's so much sleaziness. And what are your, what are your social media numbers? What's your radio charting at? What's your spins at? Everything had to do with your ranking and for in terms of your value as a musician or an artist. And prog doesn't work that way.
No.
Your value is in your creativity, in your uniqueness, in the the piece that you're delivering. And who likes it and who doesn't like it does not affect the value of a prog record. And I think that that is so special and so freeing for people like me, for artists that have been under the oppression of the, you know, the the corporate game of pop music.
I love the way how you say it.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's awesome. I know you've mentioned some of it, but what are the things that we can expect in the near future for Casey Mcpherson? Anything that you can share
Yeah, so I'm talking to a couple of labels about a solo prog record, you know, so I'm working on that.
under
And
Alpha Rev?
I think it'll just go under me
Okay,
as Kate McPherson. So I don't think it'll be my first solo record that I'm coming out as my name,
okay.
Casey. Um, and then there's a couple of other really cool projects I'm thinking are going to happen. Um, but I can't talk about them yet. There's something really fun happening on Cruise to the Edge that I can't talk about either. Um, and I'm looking into doing some more touring, hopefully this summer. I know Flying Colors will be touring after our record comes out again, finally. And so, I mean, there's a lot cooking right now, you know.
You're a busy man.
Well, I love it. You know, I love doing it. And when you're doing what you love, you get real busy at it.
Yeah. We're almost done, but we at Profile, we love to ask questions that only require one-word answers. So I
Okay.
have a few questions like that for you if you don't mind.
Okay.
Let's go. One word to describe KC Sessions Volume 1.
Story.
Which song are you the most proud of from Volume 1? I know it's
My,
hard, but
my evolution.
nice. From your discography, name one song that describes you the best as an artist, as a musician.
Stand around.
Stand around. Who would you consider the best singer ever?
Uh, Peter Gabriel.
Nice. What concert have you enjoyed performing the most?
Lorelei.
Oh, that's a nice one. Where would you love to perform and still haven't had a chance to do so?
South America.
And other than your own album, what was the last one you've listened to?
Um, would have to say the Trolls soundtrack
Oh,
because I have 2 kids.
that's good. I love it. If you could play with one artist, uh, anyone dead or alive, who would that be?
Steven Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I didn't say
La-
that.
and my Cruise to the Edge hat there.
Nice. No.
Last question. What do you prefer playing, guitar or keyboard?
Hmm. Can I answer both?
Oh, you can.
Both.
That's one word.
Yeah, both.
The membership details and Alpha Rev presents KC Session Volume 1, which was released back in October, are both available through alpharev.com. Thanks for doing this, Casey. It was an honor to have you on Profile, and I'm really looking forward to see you next week performing.
Yeah, let's hang out, Fred. Thank you
That,
for everything,
that's
brother.
going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Take
cool.
care.
Take care. Peace.